CK Little opened his doors in downtown Corinth nearly 80 years ago, his plan was simple: deliver excellent service and exceed expectations. That's why we say a little gift goes a long way.
Mississippi's trusted weather experts. This is Mississippi Live Weather at 10.
Good evening and welcome in here to the Room to Room Weather Center. I hope you guys are ready for a wonderful broadcast and a wonderful day heading into our Friday. Yes, ending the work week on a high note, and that includes our temperatures. So at 10 o'clock tonight, we're going to be discussing the warmth that remains in place, but also the potential for some storms getting into our Friday. Now, that's going to be primarily for late Friday, but those rain chances already moving in as we speak for a few of us, and we'll track those out here in just a moment. I did mention it was a record-setting day across the state when it came to that heat. We'll take a look at those temperatures that we reached this afternoon and how that compares to years past. And yes, a years-old record finally being broken. Weekend baseball forecast, some hits, and unfortunately some strikeouts. Whenever we're talking about that forecast, all the latest details coming up here in just a moment. So record high temperatures for your February 19th day. It was 77 in Tupelo, set in 1956. Remember that one. But 81 in Greenville, 1917, and 82 Greenwood, 2017. Let's go ahead and look at those high temperatures today. And of course, the one that stands out, 79 in Tupelo for February 19th. Not only did it beat the record by 2 degrees. So yes, new record all the way from 1956, now 2026, 70 years later, now taking the cake for the high temperatures on February 19th. You notice 81 in Greenville and 83 in Greenwood, potentially setting a new record out there as well. Waiting on those final tallies, but nonetheless, here in Tupelo, we already did the magic, but luckily, or unluckily, depending on how you're looking at it, it does get cooler from here. The first 12, we see limited rain potential overnight and into early hours of our Friday. A little bit of a lull in the pattern, not allowing those rain chances to continue, but don't worry, they will be back, and in some cases in a stronger variety, and that primarily going to be with storms, maybe even some strong thunderstorms. And again, tracking that potential here at the 10 o'clock hour. If we look out there in Clarksdale tonight, this is where some of those rain chances were briefly moving on through. Unfortunately, the reporting station is down. Would have loved to see the dew points right now, but I do expect them to be in the upper 50s, low 60s. Not as prominent of an atmosphere as what they're dealing with up north, but nonetheless, we are continuing to pay attention to that into those overnight hours. 73 in Greenwood, unfortunately the camera is down, but the reporting station is live and active, and same thing there towards Monroe County. 73, dew point at 63 degrees. Now, if it is 63 degrees this time tomorrow, potentially seeing some storms shape up and potentially some strong storms with limited hail potential. I say limited. We're not overly sold on those severe weather risks that are being issued right now from the Storm Prediction Center, primarily talking about hail. While that does remain a possibility, I do think there are some ingredients that are lacking, and we'll look at that in just a moment. We're not expecting any tornadoes, though, no strong winds, maybe some brief heavy rainfall, but that's really it when we're talking about those threats. If we look up north, it was a level 3 risk earlier, now a level 2 risk, and fortunately seeing some of those warnings come off the page, but it's been an active night, and we'll take a look up there through the North Mississippi Storm Chasers' eyes here in just a moment, but they went up there and tracked it out, and there were a few tornadoes spotted. We'll look at all that in more detail in just a moment. As we look at Mama Justice Doppler radar, I mentioned that there were a few showers out there towards Clarksdale, that since moving east out of the area into closer to I-55, that I-55, I-22 intersection. Sardis, Holly Springs, Olive Branch dealing with those showers. Even a few rumbles of thunder, not impossible, but I do expect those to be some brief heavy downpours, and we'll save our stormy weather for Friday. As of right now, level 1 threat encompassing our entire viewing area. And remember, we're looking at those individual threats. Like I mentioned, hail is the reason why that threat is being issued. But even then, not sold on it completely, but not ruling it out. Again, the possibility is there. It's just in a very limited variety. And we'll look at that here in just a moment. Our cold front continues to sweep across North Mississippi. That cold front is the big reason why we have a lot of questions with this setup, because it's driving out all of this moisture and pushing it out towards the south and east and leaving us with a much drier and much more stable atmosphere. So by the time we're watching this setup, yes, this one all the way out there towards the west coast, move into North Mississippi, that's where, of course, how much moisture is in place, how much instability is in place, that's going to be the driving question as that system moves in here in the next 24 hours. So not a big time frame for that to resustain itself. It's possible, But again, like I mentioned, the ingredients are very limited. So let's go ahead and track that out on Futurecast. And as you can see right here, we're just going to see this system gradually move off there towards the east. And this system that's over the top of us right now, giving an active weather pattern up north, driving out a large part of that moisture. I mean, a few showers overnight. But honestly, these are just going to be showers. I think rumbles of thunder are pretty much ruled out as well. We're just going to see some moderate showers at most, and then it'll clear out by the early hours of our Friday morning. Where that's positioning a large part of the moisture is further south than what we were tracking this time at 6 o'clock, or not this time, but this broadcast at 6 o'clock is because all of that unstable air, again, surging more towards Jackson, Meridian, and down there towards Hattiesburg. But that's not preventing this low pressure system from moving off there towards the east. The big question is when this warm front will begin to lift north and how much instability will climb with it. How strong are those northerly winds? Yeah, or not northerly, but those southerly winds moving up there towards the north. We're going to be paying attention to that into your Friday afternoon and carrying over into your Friday evening. Rain chances, they will be there, but storm chances, that remains the question. There will be limited unstable air as we are getting back into the low 70s by tomorrow afternoon. Dew points are expected to climb as well, but just how high do they climb? That's what we'll look at in a little bit more detail coming up in the next 60 is going to be a look at that instability. We're also going to be talking about that severe weather threat that was in place for today. Our North Mississippi storm chasers went up there to view the storms. We'll look at what they saw in a little bit more detail. And Maggie, she was active today too, but in the classroom, we'll take a look at where she went and what she did with the kids in a fun look at one of our school visits. Stay here for Mississippi Live Weather at 10 for the very latest.
Look at Wanda, ready to rock her big presentation. But first, lunch. Sweet Pepper's Deli. Delicious, celebratory, but is it quick? The Cobb salad. Tender oven roasted chicken, topped with cheese. Prepared, plated, and served in 6 minutes? Is this for real? Well, of course. Well done, Wanda. Sweet Pepper's Deli. Yes, ma'am. Life is sweet.
As a bankruptcy firm, Mitchell, Cunningham, and Bowling realizes many people are worried about their finances. We're here to guide you through the next steps to restart your life with easy video appointments. New clients don't have to leave home to get information about becoming debt-free. Also, convenient in-office appointments are available at the low cost of $340 upfront for a Chapter 13. You can be on your way to being debt-free. Contact Mitchell, Cunningham, and Bowling today or visit our website at mcdebtfree.com. We are here to help you. Right now, from the Room to Room Weather Center, here's meteorologist Gabe Maynor.
For anyone wondering, yes, I did come prepared at the 10 o'clock hour. That's probably why I haven't been coughing so far. So get your water bottles ready and just get ready for the rest of our 10 o'clock show. Took your guys' notes. So far, it has paid off. So as we head into allergy season, honestly, keep those notes on standby. Probably going to need it for a large part of North Mississippi, but that will not be the case this weekend. We're talking about potential severe weather in our forecast. Still some questions and still some doubts whenever we're talking about that severe weather, but storms possible and potentially some small hail as well. That's our one we're watching whenever we're talking about our threat levels. Although the confidences are the same, or at least at level 1, I would say that our primary focal point is going to be hail. I don't really expect this to be a windy or tornado-like setup. I think we're going to be avoiding those as we look at this threat. Level 1 threat encompassing all of North Mississippi, and that'll continue to build into your Friday, primarily towards your Friday evening. And I do think that potentially some of us we'll see some small hail development. Are we going to get 1 inch and greater in order to get those severe thunderstorm warnings issued? I don't think so. And again, I have my doubts with how much lift there is in the atmosphere for that to take place. But small hail, not impossible. And that's where the folks at True Shield Roofing, if you do have any roof damage or anything like that, make sure to call them and let them know so that way they can get out there to help you. We also have that giveaway with them, that partnership that we'll go over in more detail if we do get some of those hail reports in North Mississippi. Now, speaking of reports, we had quite a bit of that up there towards the north. Level 2 threat still in place for parts of Indiana, Ohio, Illinois, and yes, confirmed tornado touchdowns in the Indiana and Illinois area as well, moving right over the campus of Indiana University or University of Indiana. So saying a prayer for folks out there, seeing some of the damage out there as well. So far, what I can confirm is that no one has been injured as of what we know right now, and we're hopeful that carries over into the morning hours as well. But I do want to pull up our video with the North Mississippi Storm Chasers real quick because they actually went up north to view it themselves. As we take a look right here, this was the look that they had moving across the area, a pretty defined wall cloud right there, even a little bit of a tail cloud potentially trying to form into a funnel. Again, this was close to the area where they did get that confirmed tornado touchdown. This was Timothy and Adrian up there with the North Mississippi Storm Chasers. And as you can see, a little bit flatter land up there towards Illinois. So of course they got a better view, but nonetheless, it was one that they traveled way up north to view. And yes, there's that confirmed tornado right there in the distance. They were tracking that all the way. I don't know how many miles they traveled, but I know it was a good stretch of time. They were live for several hours. Was tuned into that stream behind the scenes here during our evening broadcast. And glad they made it home okay, but I know that they did have a lot of damage that they were looking at in the process. So our thoughts and prayers are with everyone that were affected up there in Indiana and Illinois, and hopefully that recovery process is quick and easy and everyone gets back on track. But that severe weather time frame, that severe time of year is right now, and transitioning into that spring season is where we're watching for some of that severe weather potential. As we deal with those overnight hours, I know that we do have that severe weather risk in place on our Friday, but that's going to be for Friday evening. A large part of these showers and potentially a storm or two, not exactly going to get severe levels. And honestly have my doubts into Friday night as well, as I've been mentioning. Our Mama Justice Doppler radar showing us that rainfall moving across stretches of I-22, up across Highway 72 as well, there towards Holly Springs and for parts up north. Our day planner tonight keeps us limited in that rainfall, 20% coverage by midnight up to 3 a.m. Some of those models downtrending in those rain chances, so we're not expecting as scattered of chances, more miss than hit when we're talking about this type of forecast. 51 degrees though, 6 a.m. Going to be a mild start to the day for sure. As we make our way into our Friday morning, 2 a.m., there's that stretch of showers that we're talking about. Now, this is going to be attached to that cold front moving south and east with that frontal boundary and allowing for maybe a potential rumble or two, but again, no severe weather expected during these overnight hours. Once those clear out by 4 a.m., we're going to be dry for the start of our Friday morning. So our meteorologist, Maggie McCauley, will be taking a look at that dry forecast, but luckily she'll also be looking at those mild conditions. We're 45 Senatobia, Holly Springs, and South Haven, 48 in Bruce, 50 Houston, 54 Golden Triangle, and 56 and 57 down there towards Macon and Aliceville. So not too bad, right? Especially when you consider we're still in late winter. But don't worry, winter, it will make its return. And we'll look at that forecast in just a moment. As we keep Futurecast moving throughout your Friday morning, we continue to see some of that moisture just trying to build in there from the north. Now, you have two systems that are basically interacting with each other. You see this northerly wind cycling into the area. That's back behind this cold front that's moving through overnight. So that northerly wind bringing in that drier air and preventing any of this moisture from making its way towards the north. But if you look out towards our west, we do have a frontal system, a warm front, actually it's back behind me, this warm front that will begin moving into the area and driving this moisture a little bit more north. I know it doesn't show these two fronts being connected, but basically these become more connected and becomes more stationary as well, allowing for this moisture to basically reside right over the top of those fronts. So there you're getting a look right there where these fronts are, they're not connected, but they're connected as of this point, and will gradually work its way up there towards the north, giving us some of this moisture and giving us some of these rain chances and potentially storm chances. If I bring it in right here real quick, you can see how we're getting some of these reds popping up. That shows there's a little bit more lift in the atmosphere. And what that tells me, the higher those cloud tops are, the potentially larger hail that there might be. That's one of the things we look at is those storm tops, because hailstones form with updrafts and they basically collide with each other, making a bigger stone in the process. So the more time they have in the cloud, the bigger the stone that falls. So the smaller the storm tops, well, of course, the smaller the hailstone. So we're hopeful that those remain pretty low, but that's one of the things we're tracking here in the Room to Room Weather Center getting into our Friday evening. 69 degrees New Albany, 70 in Tupelo, 71 Houston, Bruce, 64 though out there towards Cleveland and Clarksdale. So out west, not as much instability, but where there's this warmer air mass, and that's primarily Golden Triangle and surrounding counties, that's where we could see some of those stronger storms in the process. Now, we will be in Wheeler for your high school game of the week, but don't worry, we'll still have all hands on deck with one of us here in the Room to Room Weather Center in case anything were to ramp up in intensity just a bit, but we'll continue to watch that behind the scenes, and told you guys I was prepared. We're going to stay prepared. Hang on. All right, because we're going to make it through this together. Your tip-off going to be at 64 degrees, 59 by that final buzzer. You notice rain chances, they will be there. But storm chances, that continues to remain the question. We're going to be watching that in more detail, getting into those 5 and 6 o'clock broadcasts. As we continue into 9 o'clock, just a lot of clutter when we're talking about those scattered chances of rainfall. So this is going to be eating at that same amount of energy that all these other showers are eating into, but one of these storms, they definitely could interact with that energy and, of course, potentially produce a stronger storm. So that's what we're watching into those overnight hours, especially as the swarm front lifts there towards the north. As we work our way into those Friday night, Saturday morning hours, you notice what happened on this model compared to our strike model. It didn't lift it as far north. So where that warm sector lifts, that's going to be that area that we're watching for potential severe weather. I was watching Golden Triangle earlier. That warm front didn't lift just far enough north, so I have my doubts there as well that we get enough of that just-in-time moisture, as we call it. Low temperatures on your Saturday, still going to be mild with 50 degrees in Houston, 51 Amory and Vernon, Alabama, 55 Macon, but we are mid to upper 40s there closer to Tennessee, with 46 Senatobia, South Haven, and 48 around New Albany. The day goes on, and of course those temperatures warm up a bit as well, allowing for some of that sunshine to build those temperatures by the afternoon. So there's your look at your system pushing out towards the east and taking all of this moisture with it. What we're going to be left with on the back end of this system is going to be much drier air. I know it does show a few showers trying to work their way through North Mississippi. While that's not impossible, I think that it's going to be a little bit too far away from that front, so we're going to be watching that in more detail, but I have my doubts in those afternoon chances on your Saturday. As we get into our Saturday evening hours, though, and even our HRRR model agreeing with it, driving out that moisture, whether that's in the form of rainfall or cloud cover, allowing us those sunny skies for the back end of our Saturday. Should be some beautiful sunsets, but it also should be some beautiful skies as well. So, as we look at high temperatures on your Saturday, what do you notice? Yes, definitely a big outlier. Upper 50s Tunica and South Haven. Low 70s Starkville and Columbus. So that wide disparity basically means the effects of the front are going to vary in time frame for who it affects first. And of course, it's going to start northwest Mississippi. By the time we get towards the Golden Triangle, that's going to be more towards your Sunday. But what this is showing you is temperatures are cooling off as we get in the latter part of our weekend. Take a look at temperature trends. We're 68 Friday, 65 Saturday, and yes, 50 degrees on Sunday for high temperatures. Guys, 50 degrees is our low temperature for Saturday and your Friday. So things are changing. Winter is making a surge back. Heard how much we like the warm weather, and, this can't keep us happy, right? Winter's been our enemy this time of year. So as Ole Miss takes on Missouri State, it should be a good matchup, but be prepared. It's going to be a little bit cooler on your Sunday. As we look at that SEC baseball forecast for Mississippi State, they're taking on the Delaware Blue Hens. While I'm a Bulldog, I love Delaware because they're called the Blue Hens. Like, what is more menacing than a blue hen? Oh, Delaware. And they're also a new D1 school, so shout out to Delaware coming down to Stark Vegas, and it should be a good matchup. We are going to see 76 Friday, 72 Saturday, and similar to Ole Miss, trending cooler on your Sunday at 54 degrees. As we look at that 7-day forecast, going to continue to be that cool down into your Sunday and Monday, and yes, for your Tuesday. Look at Monday's low temperatures, 26 degrees. Tuesday's at 22 degrees. High temperatures getting as low as the mid-40s, but then beyond that point, we trend warmer into the latter part of this next week. Back into the mid-60s for highs, and lows back into the low 50s. So don't worry, winter, it does surge back, but it does get better pretty quickly. I'm not letting the coughing fit come back. You can guarantee that. So as we look at this forecast, there is, of course, a severe weather threat on our Friday. There's a cold weather early next week, and then trending into next week should be a little bit better. But if you have that Mississippi Live weather app, you will be all good to go. I told you guys that we did have a look. I see people in the chat actually saying, see you tomorrow morning with Maggie at 6:30, 7, and 7:30. We actually get a look at Maggie at 10 o'clock tonight as she did one of her school visits across North Mississippi. So as you can see, Maggie went to the classroom. She was a teacher today. I'll let her explain. Well, that was a blast, and I would love to make a thunderstorm, at least a thunderstorm like that. I don't want to make the thunderstorms outside, but the kids had a great time, and I know Maggie enjoyed being out there with them. And of course, appreciate them having us out there. Maggie, great job. And I hope that you're getting your rest for tomorrow morning as we wrap up the work week. And of course, you guys are welcome to join her at 6:37 and 7:30 here on Mississippi Live Weather. But make sure to tune in. You may see us in the classroom or see us on your screen. We're traveling here, there, and everywhere across North Mississippi. All right, if you guys have not done so, make sure to download that free app today. A lot of you have done it. We appreciate all of your support, but it does allow you to view our broadcast at 6:37 and 7:30 with meteorologist Maggie McCauley, and we will be back live from our game of the week at 5, 6, and highlights at 10 on your Friday.
March 24th, 2023 was a normal Friday. You know, we knew the weather was not good, but we needed to take shelter, and we didn't have shelter. My husband and almost 2-year-old daughter, Ethan and Riley, they did lose their lives in the storm. We're still recovering from it. We'll always be recovering from it. Matt Lawpon cares about the community. He's not just there to collect a paycheck. I feel like Matt Lawpon has proven himself trustworthy.